Venture capital investing is risky and hard, especially at the earlier stages. Globally, over 80% of startups fail. Within the first year, it's like 10%. This means that most times investors don't generate return on their investment. But the story I'm about to tell you is different. It's about how We Capital, one of Nigeria's biggest VC firms, made a 53x return on its investment in Moniepoint, a Nigerian fintech. In 2021, We Capital invested $150,000 in Moniepoint. 3 years later, when Moniepoint became a unicorn, We Capital made enough money to return $8 million to its investors. It partially exited from Moniepoint, meaning that it withdrew just $8 million to return its first fund to investors, which was worth about $4 million. Moniepoint's story is impossible to tell without We Capital. Tosin Olorunda, Moniepoint CEO, and Olu Oyinso, the managing capital of We Capital, first met in 2018 at a party. Olu immediately knew something was different about Tosin, and he kept tabs on him. 3 years later, Moniepoint was raising its seed round, and Olu and We Capital invested in Moniepoint. In an investor memo shared with TechCabal, We Capital invested in Moniepoint for three main reasons. They invested because of its valuation. Moniepoint was valued at the time at $12.5 million. They also invested in Moniepoint because of the team's strength and discipline. Moniepoint's founders had worked in Interswitch before founding Moniepoint. Interswitch is another Nigerian unicorn. They understood the Nigerian banking industry because they were also building software for Nigerian banks. Olu and We Capital believed in Moniepoint so much that they brought on other investors. They hired a Deloitte consultant and they did advisory work for the company. They were able to help Moniepoint plan out its investing from seed stage, where they invested, up to Series A, B, C, and so on. That help allowed Moniepoint to focus on its products instead of focusing on raising capital. We Capital's help was very pivotal in attracting other investors to the deal as well. Another reason why We Capital invested in Moniepoint is that the company already had significant traction and revenue. Moniepoint was making around 700,000 USD to 1 million USD at the time. And this was after COVID, where fintechs were already showing significant growth. Moniepoint grew 1,000% the year before. So there was a viable business that We Capital invested in. Here's why this story is important. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of investors don't generate return on their investment. We Capital, generating over 53 times its investment in Moniepoint, shows that investing in Africa can be profitable. It also shows that African startups can provide outsized returns to investors. Olu told us that We Capital partially exited from the unicorn round because it had a blend of Nigerian and global investors. They met in 2018, and 6 years later, We Capital was able to generate enough money to return twice its fund to its investors. That's probably the best 6-year relationship we've ever reported on at TechCabal.